Now back to the show. This is The Law Show on CL 650.
Welcome back to the program. Nice to have you with us this Sunday morning. Red Robinson and the Diner just around the corner. Our final few minutes with Joe Murphy, QC, and Derek Ma from Murphy Batista, LLP, Vancouver personal injury lawyers, having a great discussion this morning about summer activities. And gentlemen, in the remaining very few minutes we have, I wanted to cover off one other summer activity that a lot of us do enjoy. I personally am rather fond of this, and that's horseback riding. I don't own a horse. I don't have the time to devote to that because they're really time-consuming critters. But I do enjoy a dude ranch kind of afternoon with the kids and go for a trail ride. And suppose in that kind of scenario, Joe, there's a waiver. I seem to recall a waiver that I sign before I'm allowed. I have to wear a helmet now, and I have to sign a waiver. They're not going to put me on anything, even that old plug in the back row, before I sign something. How valid is that waiver that I've signed?
For an adult who has an opportunity to read the waiver, it's probably effective.
Okay.
I think the usual scenario, Sterling, with someone injured who goes recreationally riding is they're given a horse that really isn't suitable for a recreational rider.
Too much horse for the rider.
Yeah,
okay.
And horses can be spooked so easily. Mm-hmm. Anything that's a change for the horse can be frightening. So the cases I've done are cases where this horse shouldn't have been used for a trail rider, shouldn't have been used for this rider, and they were thrown and very, very badly hurt. Because if you're on a horse and you fall to the ground, that's far enough to cause terrible, terrible injuries.
Okay, and in the case of a child, if the adult has signed the waiver and has some measure of understanding of what they've just signed, but in the case of a child...
Doesn't matter.
So, again, insurance-wise, the child is thrown from the horse and there's some serious injury. Who gets sued, Joe?
Probably the owner of the horse and the owner of the stable.
Okay. Which in many cases would be the same individual or company.
Usually, yep.
Okay, and they would have to, as a business, as an enterprise, Derek, they would have to carry business insurance to offset those possibilities, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they usually have commercial general liability insurance, it's called.
Okay. And because of the nature of the business involving live animals and people, it's probably pretty expensive insurance policy to carry, wouldn't it?
I would imagine so. Yeah.
Okay, but I can't imagine, for example, a business being allowed to be conducted without such insurance in place.
If there's an operator who isn't forced by someone to have insurance, they may not. They may look at the cost and say, gee, we're just not going to buy this.
Okay.
And especially if they've got a release that they think is effective, they may say, we don't need the insurance. We're not going to buy it. I don't want to spend the money. I did a case involving out of a trail ride operated out of a park in the Fraser Valley, and we found out, unfortunately, there was no insurance. So this was a little operator, had 3 or 4 horses. I thought operating in this park would have required them to have insurance.
Sure.
As a condition of doing that, but they didn't. And my clients, whose injuries were pretty significant, in the end realized that she wasn't going to recover anything. We could sue, we could get a judgment, but we're not going to recover any money. So it just didn't seem worthwhile to proceed.
So in that case, is the injured client, just flat out of luck?
Yes.
And that's it's hard to imagine. You would think that there would be some remedy available to someone because it wasn't the client's fault. They entered into the arrangement, I'm sure, in good faith.
Yeah.
The understanding maybe there wasn't a discussion. Would that have come up? Well, you never asked me if I had any insurance because I probably would have told you no.
People simply assume if you're running a business that you've got insurance.
Okay.
But the person running the business with a release may think I don't need insurance. So if they're not forced to buy it, they may not. If they're wise, they will, but they may not.
So there's a difference, though, between going for a trail ride on some organized business that presumably is legit and fully insured, and going for, a joy ride on you're out visiting friends, and there's a couple of horses out in the field, and you want to go for a bareback? Sure, why not? Now, if you catch up to them, you manage to get on one, and away you go, and you fall off and you hurt yourself. Now what happens? There was no business involved. You probably had no business being there, but you took a flyer and off you went and you hurt yourself. So then what?
Well, if I own horses and I know one of them is not a horse for someone who's a dude to ride,
right,
a novice to ride, then I should say to that person, you can't ride that horse. Let me choose one for you that's safe, and if you don't have any that are safe, you say you can't go riding.
Okay. And spoil someone's fun. Well, too bad.
Yeah, you do.
Yes, you would.
Yeah.
Well, and Derek, I suppose with a closing thought here, summer fun is precisely that. It's the fun season of the year, but it doesn't mean irresponsible fun, ever, does it?
I think that's very well put. Exactly. Just be responsible. Think ahead. Don't do anything crazy.
And that's, oh man, where's the fun now? Already some people are going, but I mean, it's really, that's an extreme reaction, but you know there are people who will react automatically like that. But Joe, a little common sense travels great distances in the summertime.
Well, Sterling, there's nothing worse to ruin a fun event than someone getting badly hurt. So it's ruined.
Yeah.
And it can be avoided. The instances are usually always avoidable with a little bit of care, a little better decision making, and an eye on what might go wrong, like the little 6 inches of water in a little pool in someone's pond in someone's backyard. Mm-hmm. You've got to be aware of the danger. The tow line in the back of a boat.
Right.
Just be aware of it.
Pay attention to details.
Yeah, they can be avoided, and then everyone has a great fun time.
All right. Well, we're certainly not encouraging you to do anything but have a great, fun summer afternoon here. We're done with our program. Gentlemen, Derek Ma and Joe Murphy, thanks so much for popping by. Great to see you. Enjoy the rest of your summer.
Thank you, Sterling.
Thank you.
Stand by for Red and the Diner, and thanks for joining us this morning on The Law Show. We'll see you next week.